Florence Nightingale, the founder of modern nursing. Florence Nightingale was born on May 18, 1820 in Florence, Italy. She was born into a wealthy British family. From an early age, she studied language and mathematics. This was uncommon for a girl at the time. At 16, she decided she was going to become a nurse and cared for the poor and ill in her community. Her parents did not approve since at the time, nursing was an occupation for lower-class women. She did not listen to her parents and enrolled as a nursing student in the Lutheran Hospital of Pastor Flinder in Kaiserwerth, Germany. Before the Crimean War, Florence took her first job at Middle Esk Hospital in London. She was acknowledged for her outstanding work. This is where she found her life mission: to lower death rates and improve hospitals' sanitary conditions. William Howard Russell was the first war correspondent for the London Times. In his articles, he informed the public of what terrible medical treatment the soldiers were receiving and what little supplies they had. The public was horrified. In his article, he stated, "Are there no devoted women among us, able and willing to go forth to minister to the sick and suffering soldiers of the East and the hospitals of Scutari?" Sidney Herbert, the Secretary of War during the Crimea, sent a letter to Florence Nightingale requesting she and a team of nurses go to Scutari. Sidney knew that Florence was the only one who could complete this task. In his letter, he stated, "The selection of rank and file of nurses will be very difficult. No one knows it better than yourself. Difficulty of finding women equal to a task, after all, full of horrors and requiring besides knowledge and goodwill, great energy and great courage, will be great. My question simply is, would you listen to the request and go and superintend the whole thing?"
An extract from the report upon the state of the hospitals of the British Army in the Crimea and Scutari. Besides the above hospital attendants, we have to notice the staff of nurses under the superintendence of Miss Nightingale. That lady arrived at Scutari on the 4th of November, accompanied by 38 nurses. These are employed to attend to such cases as the medical officers in charge and the staff surgeons of their divisions concur in considering cases requiring such attendance. When Florence arrived at Scutari, she wrote, "There were no vessels for water or utensils of any kind, no soap, towels, or clothes, no hospital clothes. The men lying in their uniforms, stiff with gore and covered with filth to a degree, and of a kind no one could write about, their persons covered with vermin. We have not seen a drop of milk, and the bread is extremely sour. The butter is most filthy. It is Irish butter in a state of decomposition, and the meat is more like moist leather than food. Potatoes we are waiting for until they arrive from France." Florence Nightingale received the nickname "The Lady with the Lamp" in the London Times newspaper article. It stated, "The Lady with the Lamp. She is a ministering angel without any exaggeration in these hospitals, and as her slender form glides quietly along each corridor, every poor fellow's face softens with gratitude at the sight of her. When all the medical officers have retired for the night, and silence and darkness have settled down upon those miles of prostrate sick, she may be observed alone with a little lamp in her hand, making her solitary rounds." In another article in the Times, one of the nurses, Sarah Terra, wrote this: "The scene baffles description. Horror upon horror crowds upon my mind. The misery of the dying was also aggravated by the vermin. Night is especially trying. At this period there were no night nurses, but Miss Nightingale, lamp in hand, each night traversed along the 4 miles of beds." One of the main supporters of Florence Nightingale was Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, who immortalized her as the Lady with the Lamp in his poem Santa Filomena. As Lady with the Lamp shall stand in the great history of the land, a noble type of good, heroic womanhood.
And a letter from Assistant Surgeon Arthur Henry Taylor regarding the Hospital of Scutari. He said, "I went to Scutari to see the grand hospital there and was greatly pleased with the comfort of the men and arrangements, and astonished at the extent and excellence of the accommodation afforded. The men are placed in long galleries with wards of them and are clean and well ventilated. It is the only good thing I have seen in Turkey. As a hospital, it is nearly perfect.
Florence Nightingale required the first nursing uniform. It consisted of 1 cloak with hood, 1 dairy wrapper, 1 pair of Indian rubber galoshes, 6 check aprons, 6 collars, 4 caps, 2 best caps, 2 badges, 1 white straw bonnet, 1 dark straw bonnet, 3 print gowns, 2 linsey woolsey gowns, 1 cape or light shawl.
In Florence Nightingale's book titled Notes on Nursing, she states, "I use the word nursing for want of a better. It has been limited to signify little more than the administration of medicine and the application of poultices. I ought to signify the proper use of fresh air, light, warmth, cleanliness, quiet, and the proper choosing and giving of diet, all at the least expense of the vital power to the patient." After Florence Nightingale returned from the Crimean War, she was treated like a hero. She received $250,000 from the Queen of England. She put this money toward good use and established St. Thomas Hospital and the Nightingale School of Nursing at St. Thomas's Hospital.
In a letter from Queen Victoria to the Secretary of State for War, Fox Mall, 2nd Baron Panmure, dated 27/1856, the Queen refers to Nightingale's application for permission to accept these presents. The Queen returns this letter of Miss Nightingale's. She had already heard of the gift of the Sultan's through Lord Stratford, who communicated with Lord Clarendon on the subject and asked the Queen's permission for Miss Nightingale to accept the bracelet, as well as the sum of money for the nurses and hospitals. The Queen entirely approves of the intended distribution of the money. Florence Nightingale letter regarding St. Thomas Hospital. Florence Nightingale's letter read, "If among your special probationers you have any who would like and whom you would recommend to the training at St. Thomas's, please send them to us. Ladies who do wish to make nursing a profession and who do care for it and are fit for it. We have always, of course, many more applications than we can admit, but also, of course, not of the right caliber. I speak specially of ladies." An article in the New York Times, London, August 14th, Florence Nightingale, the famous nurse of the Crimean War and the only woman who ever received the Order of Merit, died yesterday afternoon at her London home. Although she had been an invalid for a long time, rarely leaving her room, where she passed the time in a half-recumbent position and was under the constant care of a physician, her death was somewhat unexpected. A week ago she was quite sick, but then improved, and on Friday she was cheerful. During that night alarming symptoms developed, and she gradually sank until 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon, when the end came. During recent years, owing to her feebleness and advanced age, Miss Nightingale had received but few visitors. On May 12th last, she celebrated her 90th birthday and was the recipient of a congratulatory message from King George. A quote from Florence Nightingale. "I attribute my success to this. I never gave or took any excuse." Another quote from Florence Nightingale. "How very little can be done under the spirit of fear."
Florence Nightingale's legacy still lives on today. She is known for her many health and sanitary reforms, along with her work in the Scutari Hospital in the Crimea.